Okay, hello everybody. Now we are going to start our session in pre-advanced 1. Okay. To start with our session, we are going to have the next instruction. Put your things in order. What does it mean? It means that we have to have our books, notebooks, pencils, pens, dictionaries, and all the stuff that we are going to need to make our session. Okay? You have to organize all your things to start with our lesson. Now, here we have many colors. What do we have to do? We have to mention the colors and push them. Then we are going to have the topic of this session. For example, here we have the color yellow. No? Now you have some words. According to these words, we are going to have the topic. Then here we have the color blue, gray, green, light blue, purple, and red. Okay, and here we have the topic. Now we are going to talk about superlative adjectives. But what exactly are superlative adjectives? Superlative adjectives are words that are going to compare, no? Compare a group of things. In this case, for example, we are going to have many things in a group. We are going to have the best characteristic of one element. And then we are going to mention that. That characteristic that is different is the superlative, no? If it is something wonderful, if it's something good, or maybe if it's the worst, no? Now, they say, used to compare 3 or more things. No, as I mentioned, we are going to have group of things. And the example is this. The blue whale is the biggest animal in the world, no? They are comparing these 3 animals. Here we have the blue whale, the elephant, and the mouse. They say the blue whale, no, this one, is the biggest, not the biggest animal in the world. Making, okay, in this part, they make a difference between the blue whale and all of the other animals. And what do we have in this part? Here we have 3 rules, okay? What happened in the case of one syllable? In the case of one syllable, we are going to consider this, no? How do we form a superlative? First, we have to remember the adjectives, and then we are going to consider that all the superlatives use the word the, no? We are going to use the word the, okay? And then we have to use the adjectives. But what do we have to add to the adjectives? We have to add est. In this case, we are going to consider something else. If the word finish in consonant, vowel, consonant, we have to write, okay, we have to duplicate the last consonant. For example, in the case of the biggest, the smallest, the nicest, the tallest, the shortest, the strongest, the weakest, the longest. Okay, now listen and repeat. The biggest, the smallest, the nicest, the tallest, the shortest, the strongest, the weakest, the longest. What happened in the case of 2 syllable? Okay, if we have 2 syllable ending in Y, change the Y to I and add est. For example, listen and repeat. The easiest, the busiest, the prettiest, the heaviest, the funniest, the smelliest, the happiest, the friendliest. As you remember, no, these are adjectives that finish in Y. That's why we have to make a change. And finally, here we have the third rule. 2 or more syllables. In the case of 2 or more syllables, what do we use? We don't add est. No, we don't have to add est, but we are going to use the words the most. For example, okay, listen and repeat. It says, the most beautiful, the most dangerous, the most intelligent, the most understanding, the most complex, the most interesting, the most difficult, the most frustrating. Okay? And now, what do we have in this part? We are going to check some other cases. Now we are going to repeat some rules, but we are going to have more examples. For example, remember, with 1 syllable adjectives, no? What do we add? est. Just when it finishes in consonant, vowel, consonant, we are going to have double consonant to make the superlative. Long, longest. Cute, cutest. Big, biggest. Tall, tallest. Large, largest. Hot, hottest. Now, in the case of 2 syllable adjectives, what do we have? It says, listen and repeat. Honest, most honest, happy, happiest, narrow, narrowest, famous, the most famous, crazy, craziest, gentle, gentlest. For 3 or more syllables, we have these examples, no? Expensive, most expensive. Popular, most popular. Confident, most confident. Dangerous, most dangerous. Beautiful, most beautiful. Difficult, most difficult. And here we have some important cases. Irregular adjectives. For example, in these situations, we are not going to add est, no? All the structure of the words change. For example, good, best, bad, worst, far, farthest, many, most, little, least, far, farthest. Okay, and as you can notice, in this part, we are changing all the structure. And that was all for this session, but we are going to have a review, a quick review. Something that we have to remember is that superlative adjectives are to compare 3 or more things, no? A group of things. For example, in a group of animals, in a group of fruits, in a group of vegetables, in a group of people, we can mention the some characteristics that are the best or the worst, no? And don't forget, we have to use the, no, before the words, before the adjectives, okay, the, and in most of them, we are going to add est. If it's 1 syllable, we have double consonants too. If it finish in consonant, vowel, consonant. Then in the second case, if it finish in Y, we have to change the Y for an I and add est. For example, in this case, no? And for 2 or more syllables, we have to use the most, the most, the most. And now we are going to have these as superlatives. No, for example, they have the biggest, the smallest, the nicest, the tallest, the shortest, the strongest, the weakest, the longest, the easiest, the busiest, the prettiest, the heaviest, the funniest, the smelliest, the happiest, the friendliest, the most beautiful, the most dangerous, the most intelligent, the most understanding, the most complex, the most interesting, the most difficult, and the most frustrating. Don't forget, we have irregular adjectives, no? For example, good is best or the best, but the worst, far the farthest, many the most, little the least, far the farthest. And all of this is considered as superlative adjectives. Okay, thanks for your attention. And now we are finishing with this session. I'm going to see you. Goodbye. See you and take care.